I don't recall looking back on Chapter 5 too favorably. It's actually universally known as the worst chapter of all time. Although I'd love to rant about how terrible this chapter was.
FORTNITE just dropped weapon mods in Chapter 5 and...
Oh wow, that's small. That is so small. What?
Fuck you! I'm done!
I won't. Why won't I? Because it's not the focus of this video. Today, I want to look back at what was Chapter 6. My goal is to go through all of the ups and downs from the last year and compare it to its predecessor. Chapter 6 was intended to be a soft reset to the experimental Call of Duty-esque map that we had in 2024. The reason I say it was experimental and reminiscent of Call of Duty is, well, just look at this side-by-side comparison. It's very clear that after the unforgettable action-packed month of FORTNITE OG, Epic Games wanted to take the game in a very different direction. As soon as players booted up the new season on December 3rd, they were shocked to discover a completely new FORTNITE. No, I mean like a completely different FORTNITE. We were on a brand new map, featuring brand new locations, new graphics, new guns, new medallion system, even bullet drop too. Wait, did I say bullet drop? And medallions? New graphics? It was practically a different game. And looking back on it, definitely not in a good way. You see, when FORTNITE first launched, it was known for being a cartoon battle royale shooter, the first of its kind. The appeal for the game came solely from its cartoon ideologies. Any young kid could pick it up and love it almost instantly. Epic Games wanted to appeal to a very different niche than they do nowadays. Actually, I'm not too sure about that. The audience of FORTNITE has grown and the game has evolved significantly over the last 8 years. So when we finally made the transition from FORTNITE OG, the game in its most simplistic form, to Chapter 5, the fanbase was not too happy. I've always been a believer for innovation and change, but what is this, Epic Games? From the launch of Chapter 5, medallions were implemented for the first time. In their most overpowered form, by the way.
No, dude!
On top of that, Epic added bullet drop to the game for the first time ever.
What are you aiming at? What are you aiming at?
Dude!
For anyone who doesn't understand what bullet drop is when every bullet that comes out of your magazine is coded as a projectile, essentially meaning it has a different rate of travel. In comparison to hit scan, the norm for FORTNITE, bullet drop required a very different playstyle. Some players complained that bullet drop made the guns too inconsistent. They believed that hit scan was healthier for the game since your shots would properly register with the player hitboxes. In case you thought it couldn't get worse, it actually does. When players loaded into the new map for the first time, they realized how realistic the terrain looked. This isn't objectively a bad thing, but when you think how all the original FORTNITE players started playing because of the cartoon visuals, it's kind of steering the game in the wrong direction. These issues were pretty persistent throughout Chapter 5, mixing in plenty of overpowered weapons and items that made the game suffer for the worst. Until that point, we were seeing the lowest player counts of all time. When Remix finally came at the end of the chapter, we saw a huge boost in players, which kinda went back to the normal numbers. The game was finally in a tolerable state again, simply because it was the opposite of Chapter 5. Even towards the end of Remix, players were really beginning to worry about the future of Chapter 6. At this point, nothing has been known about the upcoming season. All we could do was hope and pray that Epic would address our concerns. And to our surprise, on December 1st when we booted up Chapter 6 for the first time, they really did it.
You did it, sir. I did it?
The map had taken on an entire Japanese-themed overhaul, inspired by their culture, architecture, and mythology. It was truly incredible. The map was beautiful and full of life and new places to discover. Along with the new map, they introduced sprites for the first time. Sprites were these little elemental creatures that you could place in an altar for fantastic loot. Very easy to find and extremely useful to the player. Players were also very quick to notice that all of the new guns featured hit scan instead of bullet drop, Needless to say, fans were pretty crazy over this change, after being forced to adjust to bullet drop for the last year.
Guitar coming. I need help! I don't have a gun optics! Oh my fuck shit on!
Additionally, medallions were still featured on the map. However, there was only 2 to find, and the fight to obtain them was incredibly more challenging. Instead of standing and shooting at a bunch of mindless NPCs, you would find yourself in the middle of a real boss battle. In order to obtain one of the medallions, you had to find the floating island in endgame, and successfully defeat the boss on top without being killed. It was very clear that Epic had put forth all of the criticisms of Chapter 5 into Chapter 6. So why did Chapter 6 struggle? Obviously, Chapter 6 was a return to Fortnite's former glory. However, the player count stayed pretty low. There's no official reason to the drop-off in players after Remix, however, most players speculate that the drop-off was due to Battle Royale burnout. It's pretty hard to believe we have all been sucked into these Battle Royales for years and years now. Eventually, the concept is going to be pretty tiring. No matter how good Epic makes each season, there will be a number of players that just aren't interested, solely because they want to play something that's not Fortnite. We have all collectively been playing the same game for almost a decade. It's bound to get old. Although Epic did follow up on all the criticisms, you just can't keep beating a dead horse. So to round out this video, I really do believe that Chapter 6 was a good chapter. Despite its flaws and low player interest, it did feel like a proper return to the Fortnite that we've known. Now, as we're in the midst of the Simpsons collab season, it's very interesting to think of where they will take this game next. We do know that they fully intend on pushing the Omniverse concept forward in future years, but I don't think we're going to see any of that in Chapter 7. Until then, we have a fantastic season to enjoy, with yet again another brand new map that's only for a month-long season. What did you guys think of Chapter 6? Did it fix the issues you had with Chapter 5 or even the prior chapters? What did you like or dislike about it? Tell me in the comments below.